as we used to do. So far, so good. I told you we are going to use 2 weeks to discuss about the technical indicators, which form part of our trading session and also part of an important session so far as technical analysis is concerned. And by God's grace, we've been able to cover enough. Both not just individual indicators, but as we study all the indicators or most of the indicators which are more relevant, and then also popular as far as crypto is concerned, we've also been able to use ways and means to ensure we can combine those indicators to be making entries in the market. So we still have if today, if we have 2 more days, then I would say we will come to a conclusion of the indicators, right? So right from the following week till next month, we may consider other lessons in technical analysis. And also, mind you, fundamental analysis is also part of our lesson, and we can never forego it or ignore it. So we still have a long way to go in our lesson, right? We still have a long way to go in our lesson. So we have to brace up and get to prepare. Sometimes it's not easy. Yeah, I just woke up. That's the reason why we got delayed. But all the same, we have to show up. It's not easy showing up every day. You get it? It's not easy. Showing up is not an easy thing. But if you are so determined and focused and committed, nothing will prevent you from showing up. That one, it is important. You will surely show up. So I urge ourselves, we should encourage ourselves to ensure that we all learn how to show up all the time, both in good times and in bad times. For the past weeks, I've been suffering from is it catarrh or cold? Ah, yes, you have yourself to show up. Sometimes when I wake up, I feel like I can't even breathe. I've tried all what I could, but still, but I have to show up, right? Yeah, it's my responsibility. I'm committed to doing that, so I have to. I see that as necessity. So not just to inform you of anything, but then to encourage you that you also need to help yourself. Because sometimes it's so disheartening to see how leaders try their possible best enough, and yet most people refuse to show up, right? And the amazing part of it is 95% of people want to get results. So, me personally, what I've been saying is if you are a trader, find it so difficult to even analyze markets, you don't know market trend, you don't understand one deck of a trend, you don't, yeah, it's good. Signals are there to help you, but you are not helping yourself to grow at all. If you have been here for 1 year, 6 months, see change. You have to see change, right? So please, let's help ourselves to grow. Sometimes it's not because you don't want to learn. Yeah, I understand. Sometimes learning is difficult, but try your possible best enough. Try your possible best enough. If not, you can be here for decades and you see nothing. That is the most important thing. You'll be here for decades and you see nothing. But you need to help yourself to grow. If not, well, so please let us help ourselves to ensure that we may learn or develop the habit of showing up all the time, right? Okay, so let me share my screen. Let's see what we can do today. In a short period of time that we have, maybe 30 minutes will be good for us to go. Um, all right. Okay, let's look at something. So this morning, what we are going to do, like yesterday, I intend we look at the Ichimoku Cloud today. Right? It seems still if I'm not able to wake up early like that, I just don't want us to go for a lesson that will be so lengthy and consume all the time. Right? So for now, right from today till Friday, we have a maximum or of three more lessons to go. That is, we have to consider fib we have to consider pivot points. mm, we have to consider pivot points, and also we have to consider um if possible then this all these three are powerful indicators that are very important in our lesson. That is Fibonacci, pivot points, and Ichimoku Cloud. So these three lessons are very, very important, and we cannot ignore them so far as technical analysis is concerned, right? So um, we should get prepared. So this morning, what you're going to do is you're going to talk about pivot points, right? Then if God permit tomorrow, say that we talk about Fib or Ichimoku Cloud. Then Friday, if we're able to, whatever we're able to do tomorrow, the next day, we will use the last one. Then we sum up with every part of the lesson that we've conducted so far. So I believe you get it clear and we are good to go. So let's start. Let's see pivot points. Are we good to go? Are we good to go? Are we good to go? Mm, are we good to go? All right. Okay, so a minute, please. Let me do this. All right, so let's proceed. Sorry, let's proceed. Okay, so let's go pivot point now. Basically, the idea of pivot points is simple. Pivot points help traders to identify market trend or it's a tool that is used to by most traders to identify the overall trend or market trend, right? So, and mostly it also helps us to identify very important zones like the supports and resistance, support and resistance in the market. So we use this pivot point to identify trend, and we also use this pivot point to find key zones like the support and what and resistance. Okay, so we may identify pivot point as PP, right? That is pivot point. And if you want to know um how, or if you want to identify the trend of a pivot point, basically as you will be resuming on the chart using TradingView, you realize that there may be double lines, or there may be maybe 4 or 5 lines, or 1 or 2 or 3 lines, okay, where some of these lines are indicated as support, some of these lines are also indicated as resistance, or support and then resistance. Okay, now the pivot point is always in the middle, so mostly it either the price is above the pivot point or below the pivot point, right? So if we want to use pivot points, one, when the price is above the pivot point, it is assumed it is the trend is what, uptrend. And also if the price is below the pivot point, it's assumed the price is what, is downtrend, right? So when it comes to the use of pivot point, it's something simple, and it's just about re-practicing it. So let's go to the chart straight. Let's go to the chart to see what we can do. um okay. Hmm. All right, so let's proceed. Let's proceed. Okay. Okay, so quick, we come here. Let's see. Let's click on these 3 dots here nicely. So we do that. Now we click on indicators. Then we search for pivot points. Pivot points standard. So over here we are going to use the pivot point standard. Okay, pivot point standard. That is what you are going to use. So let's tap on it. Good. Then after that, let's click on chart. Okay, so when you come here, basically you can see we are seeing different lines. If you consider, let me use this. Oh, if you consider, you can see we have S1, S2, S3, S4, S5. Likewise, up here you have R5, R4, R3, R2, R1. And here is P, where the P is pivots. The P is pivots. R is resistance. Resistance. and then also S is support. So like I rightly said, the pivot point is used to identify the trend of a market, and then also the support and resistance. The support and then what? Resistance. So if I am the type of trader who finds it so difficult drawing support and resistance, the pivot point will be too good for me to use. Right. Now let's look at the settings. It seems the lines are many here, and we can reduce the lines, the various support and resistance. We can reduce the lines. Okay. So basically, when it comes to trading, you don't need to drop lengthy support and resistance. Just 2, 3 of them. It's okay. So let's change it. Click on pivot. Let's click on pivot, right? Then we tap on settings. Settings. This is it. So settings. Then let's click on this. So click on the type, the pivot type. You can choose to change it to Fibonacci. You can choose to change it to Fibonacci. Then let's come here. Good. So first, before we change it to Fib, let's do the setup before we change it to Fib. Okay, so let it be on traditional. So over here, when you come here, this is P. P for pivot, right? P for what? Let me wipe off all these things. P for pivot, S for support. So we can turn off two, right? Maybe the R5 and then the R4. So that we remain with R3, R2, R1. That is resistance 1, resistance 2, resistance 3. Then this one too, we can turn off 2, then remain with 3. So let's do that. Now, okay. So we can turn it off. We turn off this one too, we turn off this one, we turn off this one. Now afterwards, the next thing is we can also change the color of the support or the one or the resistance. So let's change the color of this one. Let it be blue. Okay, so blue. Okay, blue. This means wherever we see blue, that is the support, and wherever we see the orange, that is resistance. So we can also change the pivot to red. Let me see. Yeah, red. Okay, so that is what we've rightly done here. So now having this chart here, you could see this is our pivot point, right? This is our pivot point. So let me use this. These are the price of our pivot point. So presently, this is the price, right? Now, what we are saying is that when the price is above the pivot point, it simply means the trend is what? Uptrend. And when the price is below, the trend is what? Is downtrend. Now, this is our pivot point. And considering the pivot point here, you could see that the price is still below the what? The pivot point, if I'm right. The price hasn't yet crossed above the what? The pivot. It's below. And I guess you can clearly see that. Do you see that? Do you see that? Hmm? This is Armstaff, right? So if you can see, let me open it wide. This is our support. Our what do we call? This is our resistance. I said resistance and pivot point. Now what we are saying is when all the price are above, or when the price is crosses above the pivot point, it is uptrend. When the price is below the pivot point, it is still, it is downtrend. Even though, in as despite the fact that you are observing, eh, despite the fact that you are observing strong bullish with different candles, you can clearly see that yet the price is still what, the price is still below the pivot point, which simply means though it is bullish, but it is the momentum is what, is weak. So um this is a typical example of what, of uptrend, right? So this is the pivot point, and considering the pivot point, you could see that the price broke above the what, the pivot point. So when the price breaks above the pivot point level, then we could say that it is what, it is uptrend. When it is below the pivot point, we could say that that is selling opportunity or downtrend. Now let's look at the next one, that is the support and then the resistance. Okay, so I guess that is clear. Let me know if it's clear. Let me know if that is clear. Let me know if it's clear. Is that clear? Is that clear? Is that clear? Someone is saying, please, can you go through again? That's clear. All right. Not yet. Not yet. Okay. Let's proceed. Okay. Very clear. It's very clear. I can see it's clear. All right. Since let's proceed. So now, those who don't understand, what we are saying is this. It's very simple. Now we have pivot points. The main work of a pivot point is to first help traders to identify various selling and buying zone, and also identify support and resistance. So traders would love to know where the market got resisted, and also where the price got supported. Okay, and then also, before even you be able to identify key zones like support and resistance, the first thing that you should know is the trend, right? So using the pivot point, the work of the pivot point is simple, and it even simplifies most part of the indicator that we've been using. That when the price breaks above the pivot, this is the pivot point. We give it that color, what, red, right? That is it. This is the color. So when these candles, when the price, we said the candles are, when we talk of price, anytime you see price, you hear price, we mean the candles. Hmm? When the price is above, when it's above the pivot point, it's indicated as what, as an uptrend. When the price is below the pivot point, it's indicated as what, as downtrend. So um let it break above the pivot, and once it breaks above the pivot, we could say that okay, now we are edging towards what, an uptrend. So that is when the trader would now consider what to do next with the support and what, resistance. That is when a trader considers what to do with his what, support and resistance. So this time around, if I have my price here, if I'm anticipating the price to break above the support, a trader could take his so for instance, maybe we are anticipating. So over here, if I take my measuring tool, if the price breaks above the let's say the pivot point, and I identify that area as what as uptrend, the trader could take a measuring tool to measure from here to here, right? If it's breaking below two, if a downtrend, the trader may take his measuring tool to consider maybe on the first support. So it's either I'm considering the price to hit the first resistance level or the first support level. Do you get it? So over here, once I understand this session, all what I need to know or all what I need to do is to just take my measuring tool. After taking my measuring tool, I measure, I take profit. So this is the next, and previously we've discussed about support and resistance, right? So I believe you already have fair knowledge about support and resistance. But this time around, what the pivot point is doing is it's simple. It's the support has been drawn already. The resistance has been drawn already. You have it. So all what you need to do is to see the breaks, where it's going to break and where you are going to place your entry. So pivot point filters the market to help traders to get the key zones where they will place their where they will place their entries, and then also identify the trend. So since I know that if it happens that this particular price, if it happens that it breaks above the pivot point, so we are anticipating that if this price breaks above the pivot point, the next thing that I could do is to consider an uptrend movement, right? If it happens that it got rejected and then also it still turns below the pivot point, then the next thing that I could consider is to consider shorten, that is a downtrend. So over here, first I have my resistance here and I also have my support here. So if it happens that the price goes above, maybe this point may be my first my take profit allocation, or I may also consider, if it is downtrend, I may consider maybe this zone, the first support zone would be my take profit allocation zone. Unless maybe otherwise I'm too greedy, then I'll go for the second support or the second resistance. That price may be resisted at that moment. So let's consider the higher time frames. And like we've stated in the time frames already. So all what you are doing after understanding the lesson, you just have to consider your in the time frames and use it good. So now, mind you, that was the 15-minute time frame we were using. Getting back to what we called the 4-hour time frame, you could clearly see that the price is below the what? It's below the resistance. The price is below the resistance, right? I said the resistance, the pivot point. This is it. Just observe it clearly. This is our pivot. This is our pivot, right? These are pivots. Now, looking at the last candles, you could clearly see that the price got rejected. It broke below the look at it. Look at this point. So look at this point. It broke below, and then even it got to minimum of what of the second. It broke below the second support. Look at it. Hmm? Before taking ahead, yet it couldn't rise back to break above the pivot point on the 4-hour time frame, and it's still trading below the trading around the third support. It's trading around the third support zone. So this is the next support zone that may be anticipating. So let's look at it. Good. So when you come here, on the last candles, On the last candles, it broke below the second support. Now it has not been able to take that trend again back to the resistance level. And if it happens it couldn't rise further, then definitely it would break below and head towards the next resistance. I'm sorry, the support again. Right. So what we are saying is simple. Using the pivot point gives detailed and brief explanation. It's simplify the trading, both the trend and then also the key zones, that is the support, and then the resistance. Let me know if it's clear. This is something simple. Let me know if it's clear. Is it clear? Is it clear? Can one enter a trade on pivot points? Can one enter on pivot points? Is it clear? Is the lesson very clear? Let me know. Let me know if it's clear, please. Let me know. Is it clear? Am I here alone? Seems I'm here alone. Seems I'm here alone. Since I'm here alone, please no. One thing, please no. Yes, loud and clear. So Clinton, I'll be with you. I'll be with you. So, um, mm, okay, not yet. So it's clear. All right. So let's consider what about the SL? What about the SL? So, let's proceed. Now, those who are saying they don't understand, um, let's get back here. So now, what we are saying is this: we have the pivot point. We have the pivot point, and the pivot points help traders to identify key zones, market trend, right? Mhm. So when the price is above this pivot, we say it is uptrend. When the price is below the pivot, we say it is downtrend. Now, support and resistance are just key zones that help traders to make entries, right? So over here, since the price is below the pivot point, it's assumed it is what? It is downtrend. Now, if it happens that this price go beyond its rise and crosses the support, that's fine. Then we know it is uptrend. If it happens that it couldn't go further, then the probability that it could go below is what? Is high. So in this case, we take our measuring to remeasure. So from where we started, where the price started, so maybe on our first support, this zone may be our take profit zone, right? If it happens that the price breaks above, so we may intend to take our stop loss, if you want to, then maybe you may consider the first resistance zone to be your stop loss zone, right? Or below the resistance zone to be your stop loss avenue or your stop loss zone. So that if it happened the price got rejected and then also breaks above the pivot point, when it gets to the first resistance zone, you'll be exited out of the game. So of course you can take stop loss as well. That is if you want to. So considering support and resistance, it's very simple, and traders are capable of using them all the time because now it simplifies the tool of trading, or it simplifies your trading for you. And with that, you don't need to draw another support and resistance again. Listen, with that, you don't need to draw another support and resistance again. Since you have the pivot point, you can use the pivot point to make decisions in the market. Is that clear? I don't know if I've been able to explain it better to you now. So what we are saying is, for instance, this is the what do we call it? This is the 50 the 4 hours time frame, right? This is the 4 hours or 4 hours time frame. If you like, you can decide to use only two. So if you want to use two, then let's see, maybe let me where is it? If you want to use only two, you can decide to turn off, then it remains with two support and resistance. That is all. So fib, okay. So very good. Now you have it here. You have it here. You could see that the price presently, looking at this price, it's right below, it's right on the first support. And as you can rightly see here, this is the zone, right? It's right on the first support. So if it happens that the next candle closes, so this is a 4 hour time frame, left with 2 hours. Here is it, left with 2 hours, 26 minutes. So if it happens that the next candle couldn't rise further, then definitely it will break below the support zone. It could break the support zone, and that will be all, right? So what we are saying is, if you want to trade, you take your measuring tool, you measure based on the trend or the direction that you want to do, or you want to make your entries. Simple as that. Let me know if there is any question. Let me know if there is any question. Is the lesson very clear? So clear, but what is measuring tool? So it's clear, but what is measuring tool? How do I define measuring tool again? So show again how to find pivots from the trading view. How do I? Okay, so can one enter a trade to buy itself on the pivot point? I'm not getting your question clear. I'm not getting your question clear. So please, if you ask of measuring tool, well, let's see. This is a measuring tool. Eh? This is a measuring tool. This is a measuring tool. This is a measuring tool. So when you come, you just tap on it. When you tap on that, all these are measuring tools. So forecasting and measurement, right? So you just come here. Um, very good. So over here, when you click on tools, we have different tools. You have the measure. You can also come to trend lines. We have the horizontal line if you want to draw support and resistance, and come to forecasting and measurement. Over here, we have the range. So this is it, the range, the price range. So we use the price range to measure, to take measurements, right? So if you want to use, so let's see, maybe okay, so you do that. So for instance, maybe you want to take a downtrend. This is just I'm not actually analyzing. So let's assume you want to take a downtrend. So you come here. So you place it here nicely. Good. Then you take it below wherever you want to take it up to. If you want to take it exactly on the support zone, um that is it, right? So from that point to this point, could give you what? Could give you 5%, 5.9 what? 9%. So if you want to take it, if we are going above to like this, maybe good from that end to this end, then 26%. So this is a way of measuring, right? So if you ask of a measuring tool, that is the measuring tool. So let me delete it and then uh so if you want to measure, this is the tool to use. This is the tool. This is a measuring tool, right? That you can do, or you can use to measure, take your measurement all the time, right? So let me delete this. Right. So please, the person asking of what is measuring tool, that is it. Then um okay, so let me see. Can one enter a trade to buy its sell on the pivot points? Please, I'm not getting your question right. Okay, I'm clear, but what is okay? So show again how to find pivots from the trading view. So if you want to know pivot points, so over here, just come to this zone, this area, click on these three dots. Click on the three dots, then click on indicators. This is indicators, right? Just click on what? Indicators. So when you right click on indicators, search for pivot points. Pivots point standard. So this is it. Pivot point standard. You are not using the pivot points high and low. You are using the pivot point standard. So just search for pivot point or standard, then you tap on it. So then let me see. Uh-huh. Yeah, so let me remove it because I've already added it. Where is it? Uh, I'm lost. Okay. Right. So let me add it again. Click. Mm-hmm. Then pivot point or standard. Good. Then good. So you can proceed to make your settings. You can proceed to make your settings. You turn it off, you turn it off, you turn it off, you turn it off. You change the colors, color blue. You change the next color, color blue. Change the next color, color blue. Then your pivot points maybe red. Mm-hmm. Mm. So be it. Then right here you have it here. You have it here nicely. Mm. So good. So that is it. Now let me look at the next question. Let me look at the next question. Is it only 4 hours time frame can be used? No, we've already discussed about inter-time frames, right? We've discussed about inter-time frames, how to use the various time frames. So we take everything from the higher time frame, then you come below the lower time frames to um make decisions. All right. So using the knowledge of pivot points, how can you identify trend, movement, and momentum of the trend? How can you identify trend movement? So basically, we said the pivot point is used to identify trend, right? Trend movement. So if the price is above the pivot point, that is uptrend. If it is below the pivot point, aside that, pivot points can be used in combination with other indicators. Pivot points can be used in combination with other indicators like MACD, which is a momentum indicator. So if you have your pivot point here, you can still add MACD to it to confirm the momentum. So MACD. Okay, good. So we can proceed to add MACD to it. And having MACD here, you can see what MACD is communicating. So this will give you a fair confirmation for you to do what, for you to proceed, filters, and then make your make decision in the market. Right. Okay. So I believe that is clear. You can also use MACD. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so I guess all questions has been answered clearly. Please, hope you've gotten the concept of pivot points and you can be able to make good use of it. Hope you've gotten the concept of pivot points and you can be able to make good use of it. Is the lesson clear? Is it clear? Is the lesson clear? All right. How can one enter a trade on the pivots on point line? How can one enter a trade of the pivots on a point line? Mhm. So basically, like I said use the measuring tool, right? Use the measuring tool. So if you have the measuring tool, you start from where the price open, right? So either you are taking uptrend or downtrend, you start from where the price open, then you take it along. Okay. All right. So guys, I believe it's clear. Very good. So it's clear. And on these notes, I will urge you that the session was recorded. So you take your time, you go over again on our YouTube channel, RoyalQ Revolution. Take your time to learn further. If you don't understand anything, you can always feel free to ask. If God permits, tomorrow is Thursday and we shall still meet again. Let's all get prepared. So you can get back again to study more about pivot points. Make good use of it. Pivot points is easy to use and it isn't difficult. It can also help you in addition with MACD. So if you are using pivot points in addition with MACD, now presently it's real fact to know that the trend is downtrend because it has already um it's already below the pivot point. It's already below the pivot point, and this is what we can rightly see here. These are pivot points. This is the price. And looking at MACD is telling us that it is what? It is bullish. Both the histogram and then also the crossovers are saying it is bearish momentum, right? And you can see this time around the crossover happens below the zero line, not above the zero line. And I've told you the secrets, right? That mostly a strong momentum happens below. If it is bearish, it happens below the zero line, not above the zero line. Even though it may be bullish, but the best of all is when the price happens below. Or if it is bullish, it happens above. If it is bearish, it happens below. So over here, we could clearly indicate that the price is what is on downtrend, and the momentum too is what is bearish momentum. So that is when you might change to the lower time frame, like the 1 hour time frame, to consider if it's still the same. And that is the exact thing here. This is the pivot point, and this is the price, right? In as much as buyers are trying to push the price, still it is weak. In as much as that's the reason why me I have been shorting Armstaff very well. So most of you who knows that I love trading Armstaff, not because mostly it goes uptrend, but it doesn't have momentum, right? It doesn't have momentum. It doesn't have strong momentum to push the price very further. So I take advantage of our hamster very, very well, very, very well, very, very, very well. Okay. Yes, today that's the only asset I'm trading. Tomorrow that's the only asset I'll trade. If God permits, and I'll trade next Friday. That's the only asset I'll trade. So that is simple as ABC, right? It's simple as what? As ABC. And hope that is clear. Mm? Is that clear? Yes. So your entry price may be your current price. When we talk of entry price, when we talk of entry price, so let's assume this is where you want the present price is what is 0.00031 this is the price what I'm talking about. right? So if I enter it here, this is my entry price. If I decide to enter it here, that is 0.003300, that is my entry price. So the price at which you enter the assets may be your entry price. So entry price may come in two forms. Either the entry price is a current price or a preset price, because presently the price is trading around this zone. But if I decide to enter buy it at this zone, this price will be a preset price. So my entry price will be at this zone, but that will be a preset. It simply means before it will trigger to buy, the price must get to this zone first before it can be triggered to do what? To buy. That is it. Please, do you get it? Do you get it? Hope it's clear. Ambassador Paul. Hope it's clear. Paul, hope it's clear. All right. So, guys, I believe we can end here. If you've understood the session very well, give me one in the chat. If you've understood the session very well, give me one in the chat. If you've understood the session very well, give me one in the chat. If you've understood the session very well, give me one in the chat. Give me one in the chat for me to know you've understood the session very well. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. All right. Then I encourage you that you can make good use of it. So please, how come our Zoom? Let me see. Please, how come our morning Zoom aren't happening anymore? Oh, we've been having it. Just that for the past 2 days, sometimes I don't wake up early. Yes, those in Ghana, you know the weather now. Sometimes this 4:30 thing, it's not easy at all. Yeah, that is the fact. So sometimes you wake up around 4 for something, and you know the thing is I don't sleep early. Yeah, I don't sleep early too. So you don't sleep early, you have to wake up early. It's not easy. You get it. We share the link. I guess this morning I share the link. And also, what I will say is that the technical analysis classes every day. So sometimes you just have to save the link to join. One, if you join and then it's not open, that is different. Sometimes the link may not be shared, but the class will on go, because there are students who attend the technical analysis class and they know themselves. Do you get it? So just sometimes save the link. You wake up, you try to join to see if it's there. Once it's working, you feel free, you join. So good morning, my leader. Please, the recording on the use of Matango for our trade settings can't be found on the YouTube channel. Oh, really? Then I will ask Doris to see that. I will ask Leader Doris to see if yeah, I'll ask her. But I remember she shared it though. Okay, so let's see how it goes. I think we will end here today. Yeah. So please that's the reason I'm saying that we should all try to help out. Sometimes it's not easy to show up. Showing up sometimes is not easy, because you see we are human beings. Sometimes you get bored, sometimes you feel reluctant, like sometimes you feel like you don't want to do anything. It's part of the journey, it's part of the process of growth. You get it? So I always encourage you. Sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes you just wake up and you feel like, oh, you should sleep like 5 minutes before you start the meeting. Sometimes you wake up, you feel like, oh, I will join this meeting. You see, even with the learners, sometimes we join the Zoom and we sleep. Ah, am I telling lies? Sometimes we join the Zoom and we sleep. Once you join, you put the phone down and you still sleep again. It's not easy. Oh. Yes, we are human beings and I know all these things. But we should develop the habit of showing up all the time. Sometimes I can be like, no, let's postpone the meeting. But then we still have to do, because it's important and you matters a lot. Your growth matters to me. So I have to sacrifice that sleep so that I can be with you here. Right. So I would always encourage you to help yourself. Let's all grow together in this industry. Trading is easy. And the funny thing, the interesting aspect of it is you wake up, you can decide to make entries at any time based on what your preference, because you exactly know what you are doing. That is all. So let's all try our best enough to show up all the time, and I guess it will help us. All right, guys. It's almost 6 o'clock. We will end here. Okay, so yeah, so it's a sacrifice you make for. All right, so that is good. Okay, so let's all end here. If God permits, we shall meet again tomorrow. I wish you all the best your trading journey and have a good day. Love you all. Bye.